Hello everybody, I am Tom and you are watching me play Vampyr. In the last episode we became a member of the Ascalon Club by signing our book in blood, which is never a good sign. In any case, I want to talk to everybody in here before we leave.
Good evening, Dr. Reid. How does it feel to be this evening's centerpiece, figuratively?
He does not look like an Ekon. Also, his name is just Aloysius. He's apparently the centerpiece. Interesting.
It's quite unsettling. As a doctor, I am more used to being the observer than the subject observed.
Do not be alarmed. The Ascalon Club has a tried and tested policy for choosing its initiates.
May I ask who you are, sir?
Why would you be interested?
Well, as you seem to be the only man in the room with a beating heart,
That's what I thought.
you draw quite a bit of attention yourself.
Ah, vampire senses never cease to fascinate me. They dwarf those of mere mortals. I am Aloysius Dawson, by the way.
Aloysius? I thought that was Aloysius, but okay.
Are you a member of the club?
Yes, I am. And I have been for many years. And will be until the day I die.
Are you sick?
Personally, I consider my advancing years are a sickness in itself. My body is slowly abandoning me, Dr. Reid.
What can you tell me about it?
It's not really my place to give you such information. I am merely a mortal member, and a dying one at that.
Interesting that no one has offered to change him.
Are you not afraid? You are surrounded by vampires.
Sir, it's for that very reason that I joined the club in the first place.
So you asked for membership?
I have been a member of many clubs in many countries. But I must admit, this one is my favorite.
Interesting.
Is not the nature of this club a secret shared by only a privileged few?
My dear Dr. Reid, I have spent years and a fortune precisely to gather that kind of information.
He was rich enough to find it, I suppose.
What can you tell me about Lord Redgrave?
I would not dare speak of our chairman without his consent.
Fair enough.
Mr. Dawson, of Dawson and Dawson, the wealthiest man in England. It is a pleasure to meet such a prominent figure of London.
A withering London figurehead, to be precise.
Are you sick, Mr. Dawson? I am a doctor, you know.
My case is beyond the scope of traditional medicine. I have spent fortunes on the world's most competent doctors to arrive at that diagnostic conclusion.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Should I suppose that you're here in search of some form of immortality?
Absolutely not. I'm here to implement my plan to save the city I was born in. To cast out the ghastly evil that has us all on our knees.
What do you know about the Guard of Priwen?
I should not say this, but I admire their commitment. This is what the nation needs right now.
But they are our enemies.
They are not mine, Dr. Reid.
He makes a good point.
Would you help them?
No. There is a time for such methods. But brute force will not be enough to fight this plague. We have to think differently.
He's a smart man. See how he got rich.
What is the situation like in this part of town?
I am sure Lord Redgrave will enlighten you more effectively than I.
Money cannot solve every problem. This mysterious epidemic is going to require more than money can buy.
You're right. Money is nothing unless one has the will to wield it. I have a plan, sir. A radical one that will save all that is essential in London.
What is your plan, then?
Quarantine and barricades are futile. What we need is a wall. A formidable, unscalable wall to isolate the deserving from the infected masses.
Interesting.
By doing so, you would create two separate ghettos. What if the disease gets past the wall? The results would be disastrous.
Not if we eliminate all suspected cases of infection as soon as they appear. A necessary sacrifice.
Are you not mistaking sacrifice for summary execution?
Why do you care? Are you not a vampire? Removed from all mortal concerns? Decisiveness is what the city needs, and it needs it now.
Intriguing. So you separate what he sees as the deserving people, which is the rich people, essentially.
I know we're facing a crisis, but I'm sure
I mean, it would probably be fairly effective, but
inside the club since we were attacked. I must admit the guard
I mean,
went impressed me.
you also have a sewer system which they could get through, so it may not be perfectly
I'm sure
effective.
you have more important things to do than talking with an old man like myself.
Also, he doesn't want to become immortal, which is intriguing. Apparently I can't talk to these two. Or these two. So I'll get to talk to Brewin again. Red
How's your
Grave again.
investigation going, Dr. Reid? Time is our enemy.
I have a few questions for your lordship.
All right, but be quick.
May I ask you about the mortal who attended my initiation? Mr. Aloysius Dawson.
A member of the club does not normally ask questions about other members. We trust each other mutually.
So he really is a member then?
Indeed. Only the most eminent members are allowed to attend such ceremonies. Even if I admit some of us fled during the first hours of the Great Hunt.
But Mr. Dawson is mortal. Are you not afraid he might reveal who you are? Especially to your enemies.
Aloysius Dawson is a man of his word, as are all of us. This is the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reid. We do not grant access to the unworthy.
But how do you know? You gave me access incredibly easily, just because I'm powerful, essentially.
You made me swear on the blood of William Marshall during my initiation ceremony. Why was that?
William Marshall was the most glorious knight who ever lived. He served 5 kings, and was a living example of probity for all. And he was my maker.
Well, he was obviously a vampire.
William Marshall was a vampire? Is this some sort of joke? Wait. Could he be my maker?
That would be joyful news, for it would mean he still walks among us. But alas, the great knight has left this world for good.
Why is his blood so sacred to the Ascalon Club?
He was simply the greatest defender of the realm we have ever known. I fought by his side at the Battle of Preston, and he made me his progeny following the fight.
What can you tell me about the Great Hunt?
It's a major concern, and I'm convinced we'll only get a satisfactory conclusion by putting an end to the epidemic.
I have already met Geoffrey McCullum. I am certain he will persist until he has killed every last vampire.
The Guard's current successful recruitment campaign is driven by the ravenous behavior of the Scowls.
I see. So without the epidemic creating Scowls, the Guard could not convince anybody of our presence.
Exactly. Once we have put the epidemic behind us, we need only wait until the Guard grows old and weak. Time will once again become our ally.
What about the risk of a full-scale attack here? Geoffrey McCullum is a daring leader.
That is exactly why so many of our number have left the country until things improve. But not me. I founded this club. I'll die defending it.
He seems to be, at the very least, a principled person.
Goodbye, Lord Redgrave.
Godspeed, Dr. Reid. We are counting on you.
Interesting. I have a feeling I'm gonna get talked to by my maker in a second. got a good dagger. I'm gonna talk to the presumably butler again.
Welcome to the Ascalon Club.
Arthur Pimbleton. That sounds like a that sounds like the name of a, what did I say, butler? Attendant, I suppose.
I think Lord Redgrave just suggested I was sired by an ancient vampire.
That was clearly what he implied. Hello.
Good evening, sir. May I have your attention, please?
Come on, Johnny. Don't you recognize your oldest friend?
Clarence. Clarence Crossley. How are you? My God. So you survived the war too. So sorry I didn't recognize you at first.
I almost didn't recognize you either. War does that to men, I heard. In my case, it was true, for I witnessed the horror that lies underneath.
Interesting. I can treat you.
Do you need medical assistance, Clarence?
It's a little late for visiting hours, don't you think?
What can I say? I haven't lost my old habits.
I hope we're talking about the same habits, old friend.
Life in London. When did you return to London?
When did you escape the war and return to London?
You know what's funny? I almost never think about the war. Not anymore. I'm involved in another kind of battle now.
I know what you mean. I haven't had much time to think about the war either since my return.
Of course. With the epidemic, I bet you've been busy as well. Forgive me, Johnny, I didn't want to sound selfish.
It's not what I meant, but he's clearly a nice person if he even considered that.
What is this new battle?
I saw terrible things during the war. Horrors I thought I'd forget. They're here too. They're everywhere. Vampires.
I'll do that, the other one, in a sec.
How is your wife, Venus?
We've spent so much time away from each other. And so many things have happened.
But you're alive. You returned in one piece and you have a family. How many soldiers can say the same?
Believe me, it's not quite that simple. Unlike you, I'm not the man I used to be.
Broken by war, by the sounds of things.
Is everything all right at home? Surely Venus was relieved to see you return from France in one piece.
Have you forgot what people are like in this part of town, Johnny? Venus fears for our family reputation. Now her husband has become the village idiot.
Makes sense, I suppose. He's babbling on about vampires.
Tell me what you have discovered about vampires, Clarence.
They've always been here. And if you search for long enough, you realize others know about these devils too. I'm not alone.
Have you shared your research with anybody else?
No. But I've published my leaflets all across the city, hoping that someday someone will realize I'm printing the truth.
What do you mean you're not alone? Who have you met?
The Guard of Prewin, the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole, Ichabod Throgmorton. Those names always pop up when you dig deep enough.
Have you spoken with any of them?
No. With the quarantine, it's almost impossible to leave the West End. But as a doctor, maybe you could, Johnny.
Are you asking me to help you prove the existence of vampires, Clarence?
Yes, Johnny. Please, gather all the information you can find about vampires and bring it to me. You're the only friend I have left. I need you.
I don't know whether bringing him things would be a good idea. I mean, obviously it's not a good idea in the general case, but...
Clarence, why have you distributed leaflets about vampires all across the West End?
I have to warn everybody about them. They've killed thousands of people already, unnoticed thanks to the epidemic. We are all in danger here.
Vampires in London? Come on, Clarence. Who's going to believe that?
I'm not mad, Jonathan. You have to believe me. I know they are real. They're all around us, even as we speak.
Clarence, you've always been a reliable and a good friend to me. If you say you saw a vampire, then I believe you.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for your trust. You don't know what that means to me.
It's all right. But if you want my help, you have to explain exactly what happened.
The first time it was in Rouen. I saw an officer drink the blood of a soldier. I saw its teeth. Saw it bite. It was a vampire, Johnny, and they're here too.
Interesting. Sorry. Clarence saw a vampire killing a victim while he was serving in France. It said he said it killed a soldier too, so... Civilian vampire, I suppose, fighting back against the occupiers would be my guess.
Clarence, tell me about the vampire you saw in France.
I was enjoying my leave in Rouen. I left the bar, took a shortcut back to the barracks. I saw it in a back alley. An officer in a stained uniform biting into a soldier's neck.
Oh, the officer was biting the soldier.
Did you ever see that officer again?
No. Wore the uniform of the Royal Warwickshire Regiment. I did some research but found no trace of him. He probably stole it from a previous victim.
But you were drunk, weren't you? Are you sure these two men were not just kissing?
Please don't insult me, Johnny. I hid, and I saw him leave. Then I saw the body, drained of all blood. I've seen the same marks here in London since I've returned.
Properly ensanguinated. Interesting. I think that's everything I can do right now. Yeah.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Can you help me?
Infection is everywhere these days. But if you ever go to the park near that swanky house belonging to the Mullaneys...
Yes? What about the Mullaneys? What about their house?
Not enough noise for a big family with children. Not enough movement. Closed doors. What is going on in there? I wonder.
This guy is smart.
You need some rest, Clarence. You should try to sleep.
That is also true. That's very interesting. I'm going to talk to her again.
Women's right to vote is...
Good evening, Miss Ashbury.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reid.
Air suffragetting.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual recently?
A few days ago, I spotted a strange house while campaigning for women's suffrage. Awful smell. No answer when I knocked.
Where is it?
It's the Mullaneys. A nice family who live in a big house near the park in the eastern part of this neighborhood.
Good to know.
Goodbye, Charlotte. Give my best regards to your mother when you see her.
She's been quite busy these last few nights. I suspect you may see her before me.
Interesting. So, I'm being pointed towards the Mullaneys constantly. Good to know. Oh, hello.
Good evening, sir. Please forgive me for disturbing you. I'm a doctor.
I never judge a man by his title, but by his attitude. And you are not disturbing me at all. I am Calhoun Russell, and I welcome you.
Well, I must admit it's good to receive a warm welcome for once. I'm Johnathan Reid.
Welcome, Dr. Reid. Welcome to my humble shop.
What a weird character. See what he has for starters.
Your goods, Mr. Russell.
He may have some use. He does have some good stuff. I think I needed good handle parts. I think I needed. He also has some good stuff here, but we don't necessarily need them yet. Ink pen. Eh. Apologies for this sort of nothing happening while I'm sitting here selling shit. Let's go back to actually talking to him.
Dr. Reid. A great night, what?
Life in London. Interesting local news.
What can you tell me about this place?
I recently found the best steak and kidney pie in the city. I'd be glad to share the address if you want.
Finding a good restaurant? Is that really all that interests you?
Oh, I have many passions, but nothing brings me ecstasy like subtle and exquisite flavors from my teeth to my belly.
Fair enough.
I must confess, I have quite specific tastes when it comes to nutrition.
Really? Well, I'm always happy to try new exotic meals. If you ever find an intriguing table, please share the address.
Weird. Okay.
How is the situation in this part of town?
Life is good and peaceful. We're lucky to live in such an era of progress and wonders.
Are you not concerned about the epidemic?
Oh, I'm sure the authorities would take the appropriate measure if the danger were that high.
It's false? What does that mean?
You cannot expect the newspapers to expose the truth while the war is still raging. I can assure you that the situation here is desperate.
Well, that's news then. But I can't believe that things are that bad. Are you sure you're not exaggerating a bit? For the thrill of it?
Intriguing. It's very interesting. He's fine.
Is it not a little too late to be trading?
On the contrary, it is the perfect hour. Believe me, my friend, it is always at night that you meet the most fascinating characters.
It's probably not wrong.
But what about the epidemic? The bombs and raids? And all the random violence?
Please, sir, this is London, England. We will prevail. And if a bomb must fall on my shop, then I'll be there to hear it falling.
So you prefer to work at night?
Oh, I also enjoy a sunny day like everybody else. But the night always has a certain je ne sais quoi of its own.
Fair enough. I think he's supposed to be really fat. But, like, I've noticed there's a lot of games that don't do really fat people very well. Like, they've used the base body model, and they've kind of added, like, a kind of fat belly to him, but he's not, like, obese, which I think is what they were going for, with the way he was talking.
Do you have any family nearby?
Not since my parents died. I'm London's lone gourmet.
Really? But you seem to be such a pleasant and sociable fellow.
I'm afraid the real hedonist has to be sometimes. I discovered ecstasy as a solitary pleasure, but it does not mean it can't ever be shared.
Interesting.
London's lone gourmet. What a strange title.
I used that name in my early years when I was a food critic, and I kept it.
Oh, interesting. He's a food critic. Fair enough. Well, okay.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual?
Not really. Wait, now that you mention it, I don't see the McPhersons in my favorite restaurants. They love delicate meals too, you understand?
Thank you. It may be nothing, but I'll investigate anyway. Where do they live?
They have a house in the southern part of the district, somewhere north of the railway bridge. There is a courtyard, if I remember rightly.
Good to know. I think that's everything. Yeah.
Goodbye, Mr. Russell. I'm sure you'll take care of yourself.
I think it's... We're sitting at like nearly half an hour. I think probably that's going to be it for today's episode, unless I immediately see someone else.
Strangers come into your house. Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
It's Crossley. That's what I thought.
Remember, don't let
Well, good to know. That's going to be it for this episode. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you're not subscribed already, please consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time. Where we're gonna continue exploring the West End, I suppose. There was a woman back here I need to talk to. There was also... Crossley's wife was in this house over here. I need to investigate this as well. I didn't figure out where her house was, so I don't know what's going on there. There's all this area as well that we've got to explore, which I think is going to push us in the correct direction. But, in any case, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.